Merhabalar, 12 Punto'ya hoş geldiniz. Bu sene 5. kez düzenliyoruz. Bir yandan finalist ekipler, senaryo danışmanlarıyla, pazarlama ve sunum danışmanlarıyla, ayrıca 22 ülkeden gelen endüstri uzmanlarıyla birebir toplantılarını gerçekleştirirken, bir yandan da biz pazartesi gününden bu yana Masterclass'lar ve paneller programıyla bir aradayız. Bugün son günü Masterclass'lar ve paneller programımızın. Oldukça yoğun bir program. Şimdi çok önemli bulduğumuz, çok şey öğreneceğimizi düşündüğümüz bir seansla birlikteyiz. Berlin Film Festivali'nin Avrupa Film Marketi dünyadaki en büyük film marketlerden biri. Ve aslında bu kadar büyük film marketlerde bulunduğunuzda, özellikle ilk yıl bile değil, ilk yıllarda diyebilirim, yolunuzu bulmak gerçekten bir mesele. Çünkü çok fazla şey aynı anda oluyor. Ve bugün Avrupa Film Marketi'nin direktörü Nasıl bizimle beraber ve kendisi uluslararası film marketlerde nasıl yol alınır üzerine çok önemsediğimiz bir masterclass verecek. Aynı zamanda Nasıl bizim bu sene 12 Punto'da uluslararası jüri üyelerimizden biri. Kendisine bu davetimizi kabul ettiği için de teşekkür ediyorum. Now I really summarize in English. I talked about the content of the masterclass, and Nasıl is one of, and besides I would like to add that Nasıl is one of the members of our international jury this year, that we are very honored to welcome him in Istanbul in 12 Punto for the international jury and for this very special, very precious session that I'm sure we will learn a lot about how to navigate in such gorgeous big film markets in the world. So I introduce you, please welcome Nasıl, the Director of European Film Market. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Hello everyone. It's great to see this room quite full, so I'm happy to see that so many people are interested in European film markets or in international film markets. Of course, I will speak much from my perspective as the director of the European film market at the Berlinale. But yeah, it should also help to navigate in the landscape of international film markets. It should also give you a kind of overview about which markets and which types of markets are existing and what could be a good way of navigating through it. So, therefore, I prepared here this little presentation which will guide us through the world of international film markets. And I will speak today about the market landscape in general, about the role of the film markets, about the market participants and the interactions at the markets, how markets are structured, and then we talk about what could be your mission at a film market, at an international film market. And I chose as an example the group of film producers to show how they can prepare, how they can navigate through such a market. I will do this as a presentation, but if there are questions, we have some room after the presentation to reply to these questions. And of course, if you have questions for different groups of market participants, not producers, we can also speak about those groups afterwards. So, and I would start to talk about the market landscape. And there I have to mention that there are different types of film markets. And one type, or the European film market, but also the Marché du Film is part of, are the big international film markets. Then we have a lot of regional film markets, which are more for regions, or more relevant for regions. We have specialized film markets, specialized on documentaries, for example. And then we have co-production and project markets. So just to mention the types. And I would start with the first type of film markets. And those are the big three international film markets. Of course, the EFM, I already talked about it because I come from the EFM. Yeah, but also the Marketi Film should be a name. So it's the biggest international film market. And if I talk about international film markets, I call it international because those film markets really attract big numbers from all over the world, from all territories. Those markets are not just focused on one region, but usually from every continent, participants travel to those markets, and those are maybe also the must-go events for most market participants. And besides Marketi Film, there's also the American film market, also a very old market, taking place in Santa Monica in Los Angeles. It's also the case that those markets set the calendar for international film markets. The EFM is the first market, starting in February. Then we have the Marketi Film in Cannes during the Cannes Film Festival, usually in May. And the American film market takes place in early November. So it's really that during the year, the market participants can prepare for the next market. It's of course also not the case that all the market participants go to all these markets. It also depends on your focus. Yeah. So the next type are the regional film markets, and here I have some examples like the Asian Contents and Film Market in Busan, which is also a big market. But I call it a regional film market because it is really focused on market participants on the region. So you have a lot of distributors, a lot of sales agents, a lot of producers coming from Asia, but also, of course, some European world sales agents coming to Busan to sell their films. But it's much more about Asian content, which is dealt there in Busan. The same for Filmart in Hong Kong. It's also a regional or more regional film market because it's really the biggest group coming from China, from Hong Kong, but also from the area. And then we have the Ventana Sur as an example. It's a sub-market of the Marketi Film in Cannes. And the Ventana Sur takes place in Buenos Aires and is completely focused on film from Latin America. Oh, I just saw that I can also look here. I don't have to turn around all the time. And I already mentioned the specialized film markets. So we have the specialized film markets specialized on documentary, for example, the Sunny Side of the Dog market in La Rochelle in France. It's focused on documentary. Then we have, as an example, the MIFA, the Marché International du Film d'Animation d'Annecy, an animation film market taking place during the Annecy Film Festival, which is the most important animation film festival in the world. Then we have also markets which are focused on much more on media content, much more on dealing with TV content, serial content, and those are, for example, MIP TV and MIPCOM, which also take place in Cannes, not during the film festival, but MIP TV in April and MIPCOM in October. And then we have also, as a specialized film market, the short film market at the Clermont-Ferrand International Short Film Festival, of course, focused on short films. And then there's another group, and we chose also another color here. We put those film markets in one bigger group because all these film markets are film markets which have also exhibition space. This means that there are sales companies really exhibiting there at the market. They have, at the European film market, their stands, they book market screenings, and that's why this is one group which if you compare it to the co-production market, this group is different from the co-production markets, because the co-production markets, there are the projects in focus, and that's the next type we are focusing on. Of course, we also have our Berlinale co-production market in Berlin. And here was a session yesterday, I guess, yeah, about co-production markets. So some of you might have attended this session as well. And then you know already quite a lot about co-production markets. And here are some which are usually connected, or most of them are connected to a film festival, like the one in Trieste, in Rotterdam, Thessaloniki, BRT, not connected to a film festival. The only one here on the list, yeah. Yeah, but here, as I said, projects are in focus. Some of those co-production markets also present works in progress presentations, so also films which are not finished. But it's much more about presenting projects, unfinished films, to find co-producers, to find post-production partners as well, but also to attract interest of programmers, of also buyers to acquire this content in the future. So now the question, what is the role of the market? And there are different roles which a market has. Of course, the most obvious one is providing infrastructure for the participants. So providing, at the Berlinale, if you go to the Berlinale, the European film market provides the infrastructure for all professional attendees. For world sales companies, we will have a look on the market participants a bit later. But the markets really have the infrastructure or set up the infrastructure and act as international meeting points. I think those markets also, as we have seen already when I talked about the timings of the big international film markets, they also have the time in the calendar, and it's also a fixed point for many people how they structure their year. And it's super important that people meet to do business. As we learned during the pandemic, it's really a people's business, and everyone wanted to go back to physical events. So as a role as international meeting point, or as international meeting points, is one of the most important, I would say. Another role of international film markets is also to provide platforms for discussion and knowledge. That's the industry exchange, knowledge. But another dimension I would like to give is, and this is much more for markets which are connected to festivals, that also the markets and festivals have a relation when it comes to giving commercial value. Because if a festival selects a film, this film is given as a premiere to the market, or the sales companies start to sell the film, to present the film also in the market as a premiere. If there's also a lot of PR generated by the festival generates also press reviews for a film. This helps the sales business of the film within the market. So that's from the perspective of the festival, what the festival does for the market, but the market also does a lot for the festival, because the market gives commercial value to the selection of a film. If a festival has a market, and the market has a strong commercial potential, or if there's a lot of business going on at the market, of course, it's the case that an invitation to a festival like Cannes, to Berlin, there's also a commercial value behind it, yeah, because the market is there and the films can be sold at the market. And the last point I have here on the agenda is that markets also are essential players in the film value chain, yeah, because They really bring people together. They provide the space, the time for doing business. So, yeah, that's the last point. Now we take a look on our participants. If you might wonder which beautiful building this is our exhibition space here of the European Film Market. So we also use some of our pictures and also our recent color. It's not because of this Barbie boom right now. No, it's we chose it earlier. So talking about participants and their interactions at the market. I already talked a lot about sales companies, and I think sales companies are really one of the core groups in the market, as well as producers and, yeah, their interaction. So, of course, we have at the market all kinds of departments interacting with producers, with other market participants. But, of course, producers are very active in the market, also dealing with the network, dealing also with sales companies. So this is one connection, but also between each other as co-production partners. But then there's the sales companies also doing their kind of core business, selling films to TV stations, to distributors, to streamers. And those are named buyers at the market because this is, I think, the most precious group for the sales companies because they bring the money into the market. They come, they acquire content to broadcast it, to distribute it in cinema, but also to stream it. There's also interaction, of course, between producers and buyers at the end. But usually it goes, if a world sales company is attached, then it usually goes via the world sales companies. So the world sales also usually exhibit at the market. So they have a stand, they make meetings, they receive their clients. Another group of people or another group of companies which have stands at the market are the national institutions. And they have different roles, I would say, at the market. Depends on the mission of the institution. So I worked for a long time at German films, so I was also exhibiting at markets, and our goal was to promote German films abroad. So because this was our mission given by the government. But other national institutions have other missions, like often promoting tax rebates or promoting shooting facilities and so on. So they are also present at the market. They also interact with the world sales companies because some national institutions also give money into the sales of national content. Yeah, they give, it's not the case for every country, but some countries, they provide distribution support. So if a national film is distributed abroad, then the international or the foreign distributor can apply for distribution support. And that's also what national institutions are promoting at the market. So that's only the full image now. No, but these are the main groups of participants in the market, yeah? Just to get an overview. So now I ask the question how markets are structured, and I like to point out 3 different columns or pillars of a market. One pillar is, I've named it exhibit and meet. As I already said, the sales companies, they have the stands, the pavilions, but we also provide meeting areas for producers, for example. So in this group, it's all about doing meetings, get in touch with people. There are also a lot of meeting formats which are provided by the market, also cocktails and so on. Yeah. Then another pillar is a presentation of films and projects. At the European film market, it's usually the presentation of market screenings of films, completed films in market screenings in the cinema. At the Berlinale co-production market, it's of course a presentation of projects. We also have presentation of show reels, of different kind of content, but that's the presentation column. And the last one is knowledge transfer and conferencing. So because usually every market needs or has also a conference program and also programs to transfer knowledge, like meet the expert formats, advising formats as well. And usually the big film markets have also a very comprehensive conference program focusing on hot industry topics, on news which are relevant for the different groups in the market. So, but these are the three different fields. Okay, now it's a little bit repetitive, so I go fast forward. Exhibit and meet, meeting spaces, place for encounters. Presentation of films and projects. I already said that we have the market screenings, showcases, project pitches at the co-production markets, but also work-in-progress presentations are quite popular. Also in forms of competition, because then you can already show scenes of films, you have the pitches, you can show or you can present it to an audience, to an industry audience, and usually when a competition is attached, then also a jury is voting and some prize money is given. So I had already the pleasure to be on a work-in-progress jury with Esra in Sarajevo and in Karlovy Vary twice, yeah, which was fun. So, yeah, the last field, knowledge transfer and conferencing. It's not only about conferences like panels. We always try also to organize a lot of seminars, workshops, think tanks, also to really work on specific topics, because it's not always the case that only one expert is there and needs to give all this information on stage. No, but we really believe in collaboration, in bringing groups of people together. For example, we had a workshop, a think tank here, or in Berlin this year, which was a three-part think tank. First part was in Berlin, second in Thessaloniki, and the third one in Cannes. And we talked about the future of international film markets. And we invited all our colleagues of international film markets and talked about challenges and improvements and needs for film market guilds and so on. So there's a report coming out next week. That's also a good thing about think tanks. Usually you have a report or you have a statement afterwards presenting the results of such a think tank, and then people can really work with it. Workshops is another kind of closed event where people work on specific topics. I was part of a workshop in Cannes, for example, and we worked on how to improve mental well-being in the film industry, because it's a big issue, especially during the pandemic. It became quite important. Yeah. So, and now I come to the example what you're, let's see. What's your mission at the film market? So I start, because the big question is, how can I prepare for a film market? Or should I prepare for a film market? Or should I just go to the film market and try to find people? Or no, best is to have a proper preparation for a film market. Really to think about which film market is a film market which would help me to move on with my project, which would help me to extend my network. So to set the targets, why you go to a film market also in advance, and stick to the targets, yeah. Because film markets are usually very big events and you can get lost quite easily. So it's always better to have a clear plan and to go there with your clear plan. Also a plan whom you want to meet, yeah. So you have your project, for example, and you are clear about that you need a co-producer from, I don't know, from France. So then you should also plan to meet co-producers from France. It sounds simple, but it's important really to focus on what your initial plan is, and also plan your meetings, arrange your meetings also in advance, because during the market usually all people are super busy, and especially the decision makers who you want to reach might be super busy and not available for meetings. So another advice is arrange your materials. It's also good to go to a film market, to have already your materials, to have already your treatment, a mood board, some presentation on hand. Yeah, it's not necessary that you have it all printed and you give it to everyone you meet. But if you are in a conversation, then you can easily, yeah, show it on a notebook or send it right after. That's also important. I just talked about different discussions, think tanks, conference program, but also networking events. It's important also to plan in advance which events you want to participate in, which can be helpful for your target you have, and yeah, to make really a schedule. That's super important. And when making your schedule, please also leave some room for the unexpected, because this always happens. Yeah, and if your schedule does not have a single empty slot, then you can't react to the unexpected. So. Another thing which is important is that you should also plan enough time after the event, because it's not only prepare and go to the event, do your meetings, do your presentations and so on, but it's also a lot of work to follow up on all the meetings. To make also the meetings, your experiences much more sustainable. So plan enough time for follow-up work, that's important. And also take the time to sum up what was discussed during your meetings, yeah? Because half a year later, when you attended the next market, if you look back to the meeting, then it might be gone, yeah? The memory to the meeting or to the discussion. And also ask the question, should we follow up with a meeting, with a video call or something? Was everything discussed already, or do we need the next step? Or what could be the next step to move forward? So really to evaluate how important this contact you made could be for you, for your project. Yeah, follow-up work. So, and now, as I said before, we take one example group, which is a group of producers at the European film market. And I just want to show you what is important in preparation for the producers if they are planning to attend the European film market. And I also have a little add-on, because I think the Berlinale co-production market was not part of the panel yesterday. That's why I thought I just fit it in here. Because if we have the example of a producer, the Berlinale co-production market is also a core element of the Berlinale experience at the end. That's why it's important to mention it here. So, but how do you prepare for the European film market? First of all, you decide to go, you heard about it, you decided it's a market, I have my targets and I think I can move on by attending the market. Of course, you do your accreditation, but after the accreditation, there's also some work to do to get visibility for your projects, for your profile page, because there's at the EFM a specific producer's profile page. So you can, after the accreditation, you will get a link where you can just add your producer biography, information about you, the filmography, and you can also upload up to 3 projects which are in development. And so this year we already had around, we just introduced the service this year, that now it's also a database for film projects which are looking for co-production partners, finances, but also for sales agents, for distributors, and so on. So use this opportunity to, I just wanted to say, to upload projects, if you have projects, because of course it's all about the visibility, about finding projects, and last year we already had, in the first year, over 600 projects which were uploaded, a wide range, but also very much of a very high caliber, I would say. And there were a lot, and there's also a meeting function, so you can directly request a meeting if you see, the project is of interest for me. You can directly request a meeting with the producer, so as a service. That's why you should also browse the uploaded projects of other producers to see if there are other projects which might fit in co-production if you are looking for being involved as a co-producer. Next step is arranging meaningful meetings. I wrote meaningful meetings because it's also always nice to meet all your peers if you have already a very wide network. But sometimes you also need a new contact, and if you browse then the participants list and you see this person could be interesting for the next project or might be interested in my next project, then don't be shy and write to this person and arrange a meeting. I already said prepare your pitches, prepare your promo material. That's important. And have the material also on hand. It doesn't mean you need a hard copy nowadays, but maybe a little gimmick with a QR code, which links directly to your presentation, things like this. That's the preparation. So now I talk about the Berlinale co-production market. And here it's a lot of information on this sheet, because this is one option to participate in the Berlinale, in the EFM, as a producer, which gives you, of course, the best visibility if you have a feature project, a feature-length fiction film with international market potential, which is suitable for international co-production and open for co-producers if it has a full script available and with a budget range of 1 to 20 million euro. Then you meet the requirements. at least 30% of the financing secured, or alternatively selective production support from the home country's fund is also required. Yeah, no, these are the requirements, and of course we receive a lot of submissions for the Berlinale co-production market, and then there's a selection of 35, usually around 35 projects selected every year. So this means that this is already a selection of interesting projects. So it's already curated, yeah, and will attract a lot of attention. The deadline for submitting projects is mid to end September. It's not yet clear which day exactly, but in this range, yeah. Yeah, and then there's a project submission regulation, which is here on the side. But it's also possible to participate at the Berlinale co-production market without a project. Of course, for experienced producers who wanna or who are looking for being involved as co-producer in art house films, but also for representatives of film funds, for theatrical distributors, for financiers, for sales agents as well. They are all available for all. They can all apply for the participation without a project. This is possible until November, or from November on. Those people then sit on the other side of the table. Yeah. Then we also have at the Berlinale co-production market a visitor program, which is more for aspiring producers, for young producers, looking for insights about the market, and also to start to build an international network. It gives already a lot of input. Yeah. So that's another option for emerging producers to be visitors. And then you have at the Berlinale co-production market also some formats which are also available for regular market badge holders, because for the European film market you can also just buy a market badge as a producer. And then you also have access to case studies, to country sessions, and to theme talks at the co-production market. Case studies, exploring possibilities on selected Berlinale films, looking on how the films were financed, and also looking on trends in the field of international co-production. The country sessions are, I think you also have some country sessions here, so it's clear, giving an overview about how the production incentives work in the country and what wonderful opportunities the countries have, tax incentives, and so on. And of course, there are also some smaller theme talks specialized on recent topics in the production field. So now I switch from the Berlinale co-production market is within the structure of the European film market. It's not a separate event, but it's a specialized event and also curated. It's a little bit different from the European film market, because at the European film market we don't curate. It's really an open marketplace, which gives different opportunities to producers within the EFM, because we have this producers and project hubs, projects hub in the Gropiusbau, which is our main venue, which is also a meeting space for all producers in the market. So there are tables where you can also organize your meetings with other producers. But of course, we also have a lot of institutional stands and umbrellas. So if you are interested to, I don't know, shoot in Albania and you want to know which kind of tax incentives they give, you can also go to the Albanian stand and can inform you about the opportunities or the shooting facilities or how to find co-production partners in this country. So they give a lot of advice, support. Then we have also our conference program, and we of course have a lot of sessions which are also of interest for producers. So all the sessions are in our event schedule and can be which can be navigated on our website. So it's also good to prepare to navigate the schedule in advance. So make use of the dedicated producer space. We have consultation offers also at the EFM, consult the experts. So we have expert sessions with experts from various fields like marketing, like distribution, like sales, like virtual production, and so on. So we publish usually a list a few days or weeks before the market starts, and then those expert sessions are also open for bookings. And another consultation offer we have is, or networking offer is that we also organize meetings with international film festivals. So if you have a film which might be a good fit for, I don't know, Locarno or for Thessaloniki, you can also meet programmers at the EFM for those sessions. And it's also always good to use the networking opportunities, as this is a very informal way to meet people, to get in touch, also to extend the network, to get introduced to other people. But again, leaving space for the unexpected. And that's it from my side.
This was the most efficient and brief information about this gorgeous event. When I enter each time to Gropiusbau, I was feeling like, okay, I'm entering as a representative of a public TV, which is also organizing a big annual development and co-production event. But another person coming by me, going inside just by me, is entering as to another world. So every person entering to this very beautiful building is entering to another world according to their aims, their goals, their careers, and what they are looking for. So this was the most efficient explanation. Thank you very much. I learned a lot. Thank you, Deniz.
That's the German way.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, sorular varsa alabiliriz. Orada bir soru var.
Ben bir şey söyleyecektim. Sorry, my name is Recai Koçak. Şimdi bizim filmciler, sinemacı, öğrenci, yapımcı ya da diğer bu işle ilgili olan insanlarımız Avrupa'ya gidip de bu şekilde görüşmelerde yapmak istedikleri zaman vize vermiyorsunuz mesela Avrupa. No entry inside the Europe. Why? Thank you.
Okay, it was a comment.
I can reply straight away because I usually write a lot of letters to let people apply for visa. Yeah, because usually if people go to the market, we send, because the Berlinale is an official event of the German government, and we provide visa invitation letters for people who want to attend the European Film Market.
Teşekkürler. Başka soru var mı? There's a question there.
Hello, Mr. Deniz. I want to ask something. Unfortunately, we hear from our friends in film sector, in other abroad and in Turkey, there's such a big rival now, the TV series. And are the same buyers, let's say buyers, that you have shown us on the screen, the same buyers also for TV series or just for cinemas, films?
Yeah, that's a good question. And what I was not including here in the presentation was that we also run the Berlinale series market. So we started 10 years ago to have the European film market, dealing with film, and to start the Berlinale series market, dealing with serial content. With the years, it changed a lot because producers, also to survive, they also produce serial content plus their art house content. So the gap became, there's no gap anymore between film and TV series. And that's why we decided to integrate now, last year for the first time, the Berlinale series market into the European film market. So it takes place for 3 days during the European film market, but it's another group of people coming in town in terms of acquisition. Yeah, maybe not from all the TV stations, yeah. But of course, the regular theatrical distributors are not interested in serial content, but the TV stations are. But sometimes they have acquisition managers who are just dealing with serial content, and others are just dealing with art house films. That differs. So there's also a change of buyers when the Berlinale series market starts.
Thank you.
Teşekkürler. There are two questions.
First of all, welcome to Istanbul. I have two questions. My first question is, how do you feel about big budget movies from America, such as Oppenheimer and Barbie, which came on today? How do they change the international film market, or do they actually change it? And how other film markets can compete with that? And my second question is, I'm sure you're aware of the writers' strike in Hollywood right now. How do they, what do you feel about condition of screenwriting in Europe, especially for festival films? How essential the writer to those movies?
Okay, first I focus on Barbie and Ken, and no, I think it's super important for our industry that those blockbusters are so successful right now, especially after this very long period of pandemic downfall of cinemas. Many cinemas or distributors went bankrupt, so it was not, the film business was not in a good shape. And yeah, this is changing right now. People go back to cinemas, and I think it is essential to also have those big blockbusters. And it was also the case before the pandemic. You always had art house films and blockbusters. The only big problem we have in Germany, but also in other countries, is that maybe we lost one generation in the pandemic, which is the generation who was the main group of people going to see art house films, which was usually an elder generation. So the young people, they all go to the cinema, but the generation in Germany and France who went to see art house films, they discovered Netflix, streamers, and so on. That's a big issue. That's why it's hard right now for some art house films. Yeah, there are some big hits, but less than before. And the second question, could you please repeat the second question? Ah, yeah. I'm a bit scared about this, to be honest, because my market, the European film market, it's in February, so it takes time. But of course, we are also dependent on the product which is given into the market, yeah, of the films which are produced, which are in pre-production, which are planned. And of course, the big budget projects usually come from Hollywood. And if the American world sales companies do not have the big packages during the EFM, it might be tricky to have a very busy market at the end. So this scares me a bit, to be honest. But it must scare the American film market much more right now. And maybe you also heard that many festivals are affected right now because Venice, Toronto, they take place in just a few weeks, and usually they are festivals giving or having all the celebrities on the red carpet from Hollywood. So this will also change the type of those events, right? But at the end, I think that the strike, they have all right to strike, and I'm also a bit scared about KI and what could happen to them, to many industries and to many workers in the future.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you. Başka soru var mı? Şurada bir soru vardı önce, sonra da hanımefendi. Çizgili gömlekli beyefendi. Evet.
Yes, I have a question about the budget requirements. On the slide, it said that it should be at least 30% secured before participating, or alternatively, a selective production support from a national fund. So does it mean that if a film is supported nationally with less than 30% of the total budget, it can participate? What does it mean alternatively, selective national production support?
Yeah, that's now a question for my colleagues at the co-production market. No, but in this case, it can be less than 30%. Yeah, if you have from your national film fund already the support confirmed.
Okay, so if it's like 10% nationally, then it can participate, for example.
I read it this way. Yeah.
Okay.
Teşekkürler. Burada bir soru vardı hanımefendide.
So, hello. My name is Yana. I'm a producer, and I have a few questions. So the first one, what is, in your opinion, what is the right time to apply to film co-production market? If you have a project in development stage, my question is because, of course, of budget, and currently I'm making not easy project, documentary project, and I've applied recently I've applied to Leipzig market, but I'm not sure if it's the right time because we haven't, I think, enough money secured, you know. So what do you think about like the right time when it worth to do it? And the next question is about the same topic. If there are any, like, you know, maybe order of film markets, you know, because the people, sometimes it's the same people from market to market, you know, like buyers, sales agents, etc., investors. So how to choose which markets in which order to use? How to do it in a smart way?
Okay, the first question, which I have already forgot once again.
Okay, the first question was what is the right time to apply to co-production market?
Yep, usually when you meet the requirements to apply.
Okay. Okay.
So if you have the, I mentioned the requirements. So if you have the full script. But we were talking about a documentary.
Documentary.
Okay, the Berlinale co-production market does not handle documentary. So, but usually once you really meet those requirements, then it should be the right time to apply.
I'm asking because you know, co-production it's a place where you can find some financing, yes, and co-producers, etc. And sometimes you have nothing, but you need to find somebody, and it's a good place to do it. But you can't meet the requirements, not yeah, it's not so easy in the development stage. But the market is for development stage.
Yes,
That's my question.
That would have been a good question for my colleagues who were here on stage yesterday.
Okay, I see.
But maybe Esra, maybe you have an opinion on it.
For Berlinale co-production market in specific, I'm not really sure, but I know that the projects I met there are in the development stage, but a bit later development, because, as you said, they already need to have some financing secured, so they are not in the early development, but like a bit late, but not very close to the production, because they are still looking for co-producers to fundraise, yes. But I don't know exactly. And yeah, that's it.
And the second question was about order, if you can give a roadmap. But I think it's
my roadmap was already to have those types, to see those are the top 3.
And my last question, a little question, about paper materials. What do you think, is it really useful to give some paper materials, or now, these days, no?
So I prefer to give something original, and to put a QR code on it so that you can just scan it. But the gimmick I give you is so original that you want to keep it. So then the person always remembers that you give it to the person and is still connected to your project if you give them, I don't know, socks with a QR code and...
But no booklets, etc., because it's too much. Yes.
And usually no one want to carry a lot of booklets from Cannes to the US.
Teşekkürler. Thank you. Başka soru var mı? Okay, there's one more question, and that will be the last question for our session, because at 7 we will start another session.
Merhabalar. Yes. Benim sorum şu olacak. Senaryo, iyi bir senaryo elde mevcutsa ve senaryo aşamasında bir film markette bir senarist yolunu nasıl bulabilir? Belki bir yapıma dahil olmak istemiyordur. Yani bir ortak yapımcı aramıyor. Çünkü yapımcı olmak istemiyor. Ya da yönetmen de olmak istemiyor. O sadece senaryo kariyeri oluşturmak istiyor hayatında. Bu noktada acaba film marketler doğru noktalar mıdır? Bir senaryo menajeriyle mi görüşmelidir? Yoksa elinde senaryolarla belki standları gezip projeler hakkında Bible'lar, QR letter'lar verip bilgi mi almalıdır? Ya da bir de şu var, biz birçok festivale katılıyoruz. Cannes, Saraybosna ve Berlin'e de katılıyoruz. Hangi festival bu tarz bir aşamada daha öncü olabilir, avantaj sağlayabilir? Amerikan Film Market mi yoksa diğer bahsettiğiniz marketler mi? Teşekkür ederim.
Us. No, we are developing right now some new infrastructure for script writers for our next edition. I presented already the producers' pages, the project pages, and we want to offer this, or we are right now developing an add-on for script writers and creators. So, because we know that there's a gap for script writers at international film markets, at festivals, and we want to close it for the next edition. So it's in the making.
Thank you, John.
Thank you very much. It was very mind-opening. I learned a lot personally. Thank you very much, Deniz. Çok teşekkürler katıldığınız için. Saat 7'de diğer seansımızda görüşmek üzere.